Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Mission Matters. My name is Adam Torres, and if you'd like to apply to be a guest on the show, just head on over to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to apply. All right, so today is a very special episode. We have Charles Tyrrell on the line, and he is founder and an attorney at Tyrrell Law. For those that didn't catch our first episode, we've worked together, and now we got a big announcement today. So Charles will be one of our upcoming authors in an upcoming Mission Matters book. So first off, Charles, just want to say, hey, welcome back on the show, and congrats on being selected for the next book.
Thank you very much, Adam. Thank you for reaching out and allowing me to be part of this opportunity.
All right, Charles. So as we start all of our shows, we'll start with our Mission Matters Minute. So Charles, we at Mission Matters, we amplify stories for entrepreneurs, executives, and experts. So that's our mission here. Charles, what mission matters to you?
The mission that matters most to me is helping people relocate to the United States so they can have a better opportunity for themselves personally, professionally, and for their family as well.
So I don't want to assume that everybody watching this right now caught the first episode we did together. So maybe just start off with a little bit of your background and really how you got started on this journey.
Well, I got started. I went to law school, and after law school, I worked for insurance defense, and it was something that I did for about 10 years. And I had a difficult time with it. Basically, all you're doing is you're evaluating somebody's energy. Injury, not energy. You're evaluating someone's injury, trying to figure out a cost and how much liability my client, the insured, actually had incurred. So I really wanted to help more people. And I started doing immigration law in about 2009 and I've been doing it for the past 12 years, basically helping foreign investors come to the United States to create their own businesses, also helping professionals from overseas come to the U.S. to be able to work legally in the United States.
Tell us a little bit more about kind of what that means, because I think that your particular niche and practice, like what drew you to this? Like, what was that thing, or that, if there was a moment where you were like, this is what I like doing. This is where I really want to focus my attention in law.
Well, I think that the best way to answer that is it was just something that I realized when I was talking to a friend of mine that I wasn't happy during the insurance defense. And so I needed to do something different. And so I decided to go into immigration law and worked with other people and learned a little bit more about immigration law. And I was able to use some of the skills that I had learned from litigation to apply it to immigration law. And I was doing things very differently than the way other immigration attorneys were. And as I was doing that, I started realizing that I could actually help these investors because I was being able to really get into their business, see what they did, see what they liked, and then give them opportunities and ideas on how they could run a business in the US. And through the years, I've been able to continue to do that and continue to be able to work forward with that and find new and exciting opportunities for investors in the US.
So I know when you say you took a slightly different approach than maybe what other attorneys were doing. I understand, even like on the business consulting side, like you're just a little bit, I feel like, more involved than most immigration attorneys. Expand on that a little bit.
Well, one of the things that we offer at Tyrrell Law is that we actually do offer creating our own creating business plans for the investors. And one of the things I do is I try to look into it. If I was running the business, what would I do a little bit differently? So, for example, years ago, I had a client that was opening up they were opening up a gelato shop in a trendy part of Miami. And I was trying to think what would make them different than anybody else. And so I, wrote into the business plan as an offhanded type thing that they would offer after dinner drinks like port and frangelica and other types of like liquor and things like that, and put it in the business plan, gave it to the client. Client looked at it and said, this is awesome. This is creative. I've never thought about it. Nobody offers that. And so what they did was they ended up reaching and applying for their liquor license so that they could offer this niche to their customers. And so whenever I work on a business plan, I try to think of it in several different factors. I think of it, if I'm an officer reviewing the business plan, what do I
Mm,
want to see to show that the company will grow to create jobs for American workers?
mhm,
And what, as the owner, what would I do that would be different, that would distinguish my business from
mhm.
other businesses in the similar field, that would give me a competitive edge over my over other competitors?
Yeah, that makes total sense. And I know you've worked with people, I'm guessing from all around the world, right? Like, is there any particular countries you work with more than others in terms of immigrants immigrating over?
Um, No, I don't really focus on any one area. I mean,
Mm,
I do have a lot of Latin American clients, but I also do have clients from Eastern Europe, and I'm
mm,
expanding into the Asian market. I've had clients from Europe. I've had clients
yeah,
from Australia. I've had clients even, from Africa. So there's not a single part of the country, part of the world, except for Antarctica, because I don't really know that many people living on Antarctica. But there's not a single part of the world that I really haven't helped somebody from.
No, that's helpful. And so, what are some of the challenges that people go through when they're coming over here to start a business? Give us a little bit more of that.
Well, some of the challenges, and it's a good thing that you brought that up, because it's part of what I'm going to be writing with respect to the book that
Yeah,
we're doing together. And it's about starting over.
yeah,
And I, for a variety of reasons, had to start over in my life. And I know that people that are immigrating
mhm,
from a foreign country to the US, they're starting over.
yeah,
They have an idea of what life is like based in their home country.
mhm,
And if you've traveled around the world, you do notice that, every country is different. Every country
yeah,
operates differently than the country you're from. The U.S. and South America operate very, very differently. The U.S. and even like our closest that
mhm,
we can look at, Canada or the UK,
yeah,
um, again, we still operate very differently than they do. And so the challenges are starting over, starting a new life,
mhm,
going into a new area that you may not be 100% familiar with, but taking the courage to actually do that, and just helping people see that you believe in them,
mm.
that they can take this step to start over.
Yeah, one of our authors in a previous book, a couple of books ago, I forget the Business Leaders edition, but his name's Emmanuel Ponzo, and he's an immigrant from he came over from Italy, and he published another book with us, and when he writes about this idea of starting over from his perspective and just how it was like, I mean, he came to this country, he didn't know the language, he didn't speak English, he didn't have all these things. He was starting school. I mean, all these different like barriers and hurdles. Like on my end, it's hard enough for me to start a business or to run a business, and I'm from here. Like, and I've had certain advantages just based off of growing up here. But then when I think about some of these really successful stories like his or like other people that have immigrated here through the years, I mean, to me, it's just amazing to see like these types of success stories and just to see like the grit and the tenacity of those that come over and really make it.
Well, and that's the most rewarding part of my job, is to
Mm,
see the people that do succeed, to see the people that have built a new life. Because the reality of the situation, and Mr. Ponzi would probably tell you the same thing, or
mhm.
Ponzo, not Ponzi. We don't want to say Ponzi. You don't want to go to the Ponzi scheme. But most people, I'm not saying all, but I
Yeah.
would say the majority of the people, they don't leave their home country because
Mhm.
they want to. They feel that they have to.
Yeah.
Because when you are starting over, speaking from my own personal experience,
Mhm.
it's scary, it's challenging,
Yeah.
and it's not something that you necessarily want to do. We all create our own comfort zone,
Mm.
and we all create our own patterns, and we all create our own routine. And
Mhm.
when that gets challenged, we do tend to be scared. And it's the people that have the strength and the fortitude to
Yeah.
work with people like me, to be willing to take that courage and step out. Um, and I do, those are the people that, you want to see succeed. And when they succeed, you feel so happy for them,
Mhm.
um, because you know what they put into it to get there.
Well said. And I get it. And for anybody watching this that has started over in anything, it could be career, it could be relation, it could be personal. I mean, whatever. I mean that it's never an easy thing. And so that being said, if somebody is, for your readers of your writing and an upcoming book, is there like a takeaway? I know there's going to be many, but is there like a central message or theme that you really want people to, after they put down that book, to walk away with, like saying like, I got it?
I mean, there are a couple of lessons that I believe that will be put into
Mhm.
what I
And I'm
write.
not holding you on this, by the way. We're
Yeah.
still in for everybody watching, we're still in the editing process. We're still cultivating the content, but I just want to pick your brain and get a feel for it.
I mean, the thing that I would say, the main thing that I would say is that
Mhm.
when you're starting over,
Mm,
especially when you're moving from one country to another,
mm,
don't try to reinvent the wheel.
yeah.
Okay, um, it's going to be hard to start over. There's
Mhm,
going to be challenges to start over, and you need to have something that you can rely upon that is comforting to you. So I've had
mm,
plenty of clients um, that have come to the U.S. And I'll explain. I had a client who
mhm,
who ran a pharmacy, okay, in
mm.
South America, and pharmacies in South America are very different than pharmacies in the U.S.
Yeah.
Um, and basically, they came to the United States and they decided to open up they started to work with a franchise to
Mm.
open up a haircut for kids. And in the pharmacy in South America, and I would say probably some in the pharmacies in the US, you don't have
Mhm.
to rely upon customer service.
Yeah.
Okay. It's not a huge deal. But if you're cutting kids' hair, like customer service is number one. Like,
For sure.
you have to make the parents feel comfortable, you have to make the kids feel comfortable, and you have to want them to come back and create an environment that they want to come back.
Yeah.
Because I think that if you remember like the Dennis the Menace cartoons, they always talked about like you would see Dennis the Menace walking outside the police officer trying to say that the barber was trying to cut off his ears or something like
Right.
that. Um, so um, so he thought that it was going to be similar fields, but they were entirely different fields, and that customer
Mm,
service aspect that he didn't have that much control over made it so much difficult for him
mm,
that he really struggled with that business. And there were a
mm.
lot of different variety factors that were going on. But then I look at another client that they were selling car parts in
Ah,
South America. And they decided to open up a business in the US where they were getting car parts and shipping it to their company in South America, shipping it to other
wow.
places, importing car parts,
Yeah.
shipping it to people in the United States, doing that stuff. But they were in their same field,
Yeah.
and only after a couple of years of operations, they built multi-million dollar company.
Wow.
So they stayed within their field.
Mhm,
So that's one of the things I would say is don't try to reinvent the wheel. Try to find
mhm.
something. It doesn't have to be exact, but it has to be something that you feel comfortable with.
Yeah, that
Um,
makes total sense. And so what are some of the other things that you feel distinguish somebody that comes over and maybe starts a successful business? And I know there's many, but what are some of the things that you found kind of makes the people successful? So for example, one of them that you just gave us is stay within your field of expertise. I mean, that's really helpful. Are there other things?
well, I would say that one of the other things is know who you're partnering with.
Hmm.
Okay, know who you're working with, and make sure you're working with someone who has a proven track record.
Yeah.
Um, Make sure you're working with someone I mean, uh, you can go into franchises, you can go into your own business, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
But if you're going to go into a franchise, make sure that the franchise has been around for a while. Make sure that they've been successful. Make sure they've been successful in the area where you're going to open up.
Mm.
Obviously, you're going to open up in a new area, but if you're the first one opening up, let's say in Arizona for that particular franchise, you're
Hmm.
going to run into more trouble than like maybe the 10th person to open up in Arizona. And really do your research and look into who you're partnering with, especially if you're going to do this for immigration purposes. There
Mm.
are so many people out there, unfortunately, that
Mhm.
claim that they do immigration or certain aspects of immigration, and all they're doing is stealing people's money. And
Ah.
you need to find people that will actually listen to you, give
Mhm.
you advice, and have a proven track record of having it approved.
Mm.
Um, I have worked with hundreds of clients from all over the world. I've been successful with it.
Yeah.
Um, I do know what I'm doing, and there are
Mhm.
plenty of immigration attorneys out there that do as well. But there's
Mhm.
also so many out there that don't. So I would recommend before you partner with anybody, be it an immigration attorney, be it somebody within business, make sure they know what they're doing and make
Mm.
sure they've been successful in the past.
Awesome. Well said, Charles. And I just want to say again, really excited to read your final chapter and to read your writing and to have you in this next edition of Mission Matters. I mean, it's going to be a great edition and excited to learn more about your concepts of starting over, what that means. I mean, I'm already inspired by listening to what you said. Yeah, me thinking about it. And I'm like, and for the people that that are watching, I hope you feel the same. And also, when the book comes out, by the way, Charles, we're going to have you back on the show. Definitely want to announce what the final chapter was like, what you wrote about, and also just dive deeper into your content and your views on the matter. So again, thank you for coming on the show. And if somebody's watching this and they want to learn more about your firm or to connect, what's the best way for them to follow up after this and to connect?
Well, we do have our own YouTube channel. We have our own website. The website's www.tntvisa.com. You go there, you can click onto the link to get to the YouTube channel. We do have a blog. We have if any questions about immigration or anything that you need, you can always
Yeah.
email us at info at tntvisa.com, or
Mhm.
you can reach out to us via text message, either text message or WhatsApp
Mhm.
at 754-610-7266. Somebody from our team will reach out to you, schedule an appointment. We'll be happy to address you and help any way we possibly can.
Perfect. Well, again, thank you for coming on the show, Charles. Excited to read your writing, and to the audience, as always, thank you for tuning in. If you're a first-time viewer or listener and you don't know what to expect, hit that subscribe button. We have many more mission-based entrepreneurs, executives, and experts coming on, and we don't want you to miss a thing. So make sure you hit that subscribe button so you'll be a return listener. And Charles, thanks again for coming on.
Thank you very much for having me, Adam.